These last four questions have to do with segments within circles. The first type that you'll see is when you have two chords. So we have this, we're going to look down at the bottom here first. These two chords that intersect, and when they intersect inside the circle, all we have to do here is we take the product of the parts of one chord. So we'll look at this red chord first, and we'll say, okay, we have the product of A times B, so those two segments, equals the product of the parts of the second chord, so C times D. And that's all. That's all you have to do. So what we have in these couple examples here, we're given 3 of the 4 segments. We just have to find the missing one. And so here we could think, okay, here's my red chord and here's the blue chord. So for the red, we're going to have 18 times 30. And that's going to be equal to the product of the parts of the blue chord, so 27 times x. And then figuring that out, doing the math there, we can do 18 times 30, and that's 540 equals 27x. Dividing both sides by 27, we get x is equal to 20. And so we get x equals 20. The next one's very similar. This time we're dealing with some smaller numbers, but we have, here we'll say this is our blue one, so 12 times x is equal to these two multiplied times each other, 10 times 6, and so we have 12x equals 60. Dividing both sides by 12, in this case we get x is equal to 5. And that's all you do for that. You just take the product, so multiply the two parts of the chord, and it's equal to the other product. And these last couple examples, going to kind of be the same idea, but it's a little bit different. So here, these two lines cross, these two segments cross the circle. And so what we're going to have with this is we're going to have the outside part of the segment times the whole segment, and those are what are going to be equal to each other. So over here, looking at our red, we'll have E, that's the outside part, times the whole thing, the whole length there is F, and that's going to be equal to the product of the outside part of the blue one, which is G, times the whole thing, which is H. And so coming up to our couple examples here, let's say that's our blue one, so we have to be careful here. We have the outside part, which is 10, times the whole length. Well, the whole length here is 10 plus x. And then that's going to be equal to, and we have our red part here, that's going to be equal to the outside part, which is 9, times the whole thing, so 9 plus 21 is 30. And then we go ahead and solve this. We can distribute, so we get 100 plus 10x. 9 times 30 is 270. We would subtract 100 from both sides, and we get 10x equals 170. Dividing both sides by 10, we find that x is equal to 17. And then 55 is going to be very similar. Let's look at this. We have the outside part, which is 6, times the whole thing, which is 6 plus 8, which is 14, equal to the outside part, which is 7, times the whole thing. Let's do that in blue. Outside part is 7, whole thing is 7 plus x. And we'll solve. 6 times 14 is 84. Distribute here, we get 49 equals 7x. plus 7x. 49 plus 7x. Subtract 49 from both sides, and we get 7x is equal to 35. Dividing both sides by 7, we get x is equal to 5. And that's how you do this. So make sure for these two and the two before, make sure you know the formulas and how to set up the equation. Once you set up the equation, it's really easy to solve.